Hi friends! I want to talk about my growth as an artist and specifically highlight my inspiration from an artist named Sophie Tea. So I feel like the best place to start is right from the beginning. Here we are. This is the first nude on the left, the second one on the right. I did frontal and then I did a booty one. Then we got into this one. This was like a fan favorite. After I did the first two, I was kind of like, yeah, I paint nudes now. And this was actually a commission. I had a friend reach out to me, obviously more of like a realistic approach rather than abstract like for most of these. This one's like a little bit strokey, which is kind of fun. But anyways, so then we get into this era where I discover Sophie Tea, a friend. I remember a good friend of mine, she sent me her art and was like, oh my God, I see you're painting nudes. You need to check this girl out. Immediately obsessed. I'll show you in a bit here, but this photo on the left was like the first painting that I did that was pretty like Sophie Tea inspired, with just like, she does those bigger brush strokes. And so up until this point, I was painting photos that I was like finding off of Google image search basically. So if I wanted to paint a painting, I would Google naked women and, you know, sort through everything that came up, and then I'd settle on an image that I would like to paint, Google image search porn star bodies basically, and I was really inspired by Sophie. So she had this thing called Send Nudes where people would send her their photos. And I was like, that is such a cool idea. Like painting perfect bodies was great, but it was like, you know, I think just to further my experience, I really liked the idea of painting real women. So yeah, this is where I discovered Sophie Tea. I created this painting on the left that was like pretty Sophie Tea inspired. And then we scroll down. These are all photos that people sent to me. Then kind of like kicks off my real obsession with Sophie. I was like doing these two ones on the right and I was like, I like these. Can't quite like get this lighting right. So then we go into this. Like these are obviously heavily inspired by Sophie Tea. I was at this point where rather than using reference photos, I was using Sophie's paintings as reference photos. And I'll talk about lessons I've learned about that more at the end of this video. I think right now I just want to go still like take you through my artist journey. So yeah, same thing here. Sophie with the color again, absolutely killing it. Me, I always kept it black and white and brown neutrals. This is like a massive painting that Sophie did. These ones were like 12 inches by 12 inches. I think they were just little guys. So lessons learned for me now, I definitely recognize the importance in like marking something like this as a study. I think that's totally cool. Yeah, I do want to add, like, I never had any malicious intent. I was obsessed with Sophie. I would talk to all of my friends about how much I loved her. She just became like, she was like an icon, like idol for me. And, you know, she had some really, really good advice around how to position yourself as an artist and treat it as a business. She was like, I'm a businesswoman first. And I was like, yes, queen, me too. Like, I love art. I love creating. But at the end of the day, like if you're going to be a successful artist, you need to treat your art like a business in order to succeed. I hadn't posted to TikTok at all before. And I said, you know what, I'm just gonna do like an insanely aggressive TikTok strategy. I was posting 7 times a day, 4 to 7 times a day, but like usually always hitting that 7-time quota, which was absolutely insane. And this was all like within a month of each other that I did these paintings, right? And there were more of these too. These were just like the most obvious comparison ones that I could find. Also, simultaneously decided I am gonna take TikTok seriously and take a really aggressive strategy. I'm posting a shit ton. Then I posted this video. You've probably seen it if you follow me. This is probably how you found me. This is like a voiceover from Moira Rose in Schitt's Creek, where she's like basically talking about how you have to love your body now, because in a few years you're gonna look back and just think of like how beautiful you were. And so I did like a play on that, where I was trying to get commissions, and I was like really getting into this like body positive self-love space. And I was like, send me your nudes, I will paint you. You're gonna look back on these nudes in 5-10 years and think, God, what did she say? Gosh, I was beautiful or something. This TikTok takes off as like over 1 million views. Insane. I went from like 0 to 1,000 overnight. I essentially, from this video, filled my commissions for the next 6 months. This is kind of where I started getting a few comments of people saying, wow, is this Sophie Tea? Like you should be crediting her. And that was hard, because I was like, yes, it is very heavily Sophie inspired. I still felt like it was mine. So I was trying to balance that, I guess, in my brain. Also, I realized I had been blocked by Sophie Tea and on Instagram. And I was like heartbroken when I saw that, because obviously she was such an idol to me, and so I was so upset. And so that, I feel like that's what really triggered me to be like, I need to email this girl and apologize, because I have nothing but like love for this human. Like I am truly just, I think she's an icon. And so I did. I emailed her and said, look, I think Sophie is like one of the coolest people. Some people are like accusing me of copying. And then I realized I was blocked by Sophie. I think I said at the end, I'm a businesswoman first and an artist second. I clearly let that get the best of me. My style continues to evolve as an artist, and I hope that Sophie will see that this was part of my development. If there's anything I can do to rectify the situation, please let me know. This all happened very quickly, and I'm rather new to the art world. Her team replied, so cute, so positive. They basically say, like, I pass this on to Sophie. It's common that people on Sophie's account are often blocked from the team, not directly herself. This is flagged when it's very close reproductions as to not affect Sophie's mood or creative direction. We appreciate your beautiful email, and we wish you lots of luck with being creative and sharing the message that loving yourself is the best self-care. Beautiful message, beautiful message. And from there, start to really create my own style here. So these were two, I just picked these because I love them both. I was getting into these like smoother, back into that kind of like realistic vibe from when I very first started, which is interesting how things evolved. And then these are two of my like much newer pieces that I did. As you can see, like very different from Sophie Tea. And then this one is a new one as well. This is with like, no brushes were used to paint this. It's just with like a knife, like palette work. I guess 3 more points that I feel like are very important to this conversation. Number 1 being the topic of consent when you are painting someone's body is obviously very important. I think this is something that I really brushed over when I was using Sophie's Tea as in Sophie's art as inspiration. Paintings of women who had given Sophie their consent to paint their bodies. They had not given me consent to paint their bodies. So that's obviously something that I learned later on. So I just want to clarify that I realized that was wrong. I want to apologize to those women. I want to apologize to Sophie. And, you know, at the end of the day, all I can really do is apologize and learn my lesson and hopefully, like, through talking about it, help other people realize the importance so that they don't make the same mistakes that I did. The next thing I want to talk about is balancing influencer versus artist. So this was a big one. I did, like, when people were commenting like, this is Sophie Tea, like you need to be crediting her. I know that this was wrong, but I would delete the comments. That it was upsetting to me because it was true, right? And because I knew that what I was doing was wrong by not crediting her. And so that's something that I want to apologize for. Yeah, it is a weird, the balancing of influencer versus artist and combining the two, that has definitely been an interesting path to navigate. So to conclude, made this video to hopefully offer transparency about my experience as an artist and my inspiration as an artist and lessons that I've learned. Ultimately, I just hope, like, by putting this out there, like I said before, it just helps other artists to make good decisions early on in their career and learn from my mistakes. So that is all. If anyone has any like further questions that you want me to answer, just leave them in the comments. And yeah, have a beautiful day.